Hello everyone. Today I thought it might be interesting to make a little orthographic style camera for the multiplayer Unity kart game I made previously. Here's a little plan of the steps we'll be going through in this video. Step 1 will be to disable the main camera that already exists in the scene. Step 2 will be to drag the player prefab into the scene. In step 3 we're going to create a new camera game object as a temporary child and call it AutoCamera and then set the tag to main camera. Once we've done that, we'll just change some of the camera and transform properties of that game object. In step 4, we're going to create a new script for the auto camera and call it follow player. In step 5, we're going to move that auto camera out of the player hierarchy. In step 6, we're going to set the camera offset in follow player to the values we decided on earlier. In step 7, we're going to open the player prefab, and then we're going to attach a new script called fix camera. And the last thing we get to do is test it. And yes, I know I used the number 7 twice. Before I get started, this is what the camera looks like currently. The first thing we're going to do is disable this main camera here by just unchecking this box. Now we're going to drag the player prefab into the scene. So we'll just go to our project, go to prefabs, and find our player, drop it in there. Now under the player in the scene, we're going to create a new camera. We're going to call it Ortho Camera. And then we're going to set the tag to main camera. The first property we're going to change on the camera is change it from perspective to orthographic. Next, we're going to change the camera size to 7. Then we're going to change the near clipping planes to -20. Now we're going to change the rotation to 45, -45, and we'll leave the Z as 0. The next thing I'm going to do is set the position of the camera. So I'm going to set it to 5, 8, and -5, which puts it pretty much in the same position as before, but with a bit of extra clearance. Now we're going to create a new script called follow player. And now we're just going to edit the script. And now we're going to edit the script just by double clicking on it. Now in this script we're not going to need the start block, so I'm just going to delete it. I'm going to create two public variables. The first one will be the game object, and this will be the player. Next will be a vector3, and this will be the camera offset. Now with this camera offset, that's actually going to be the values that we've set here as the position in the transform. Now in this update block we're going to put an if statement. So if the player, which is pretty much the same as if the player is not null, then we'll set this game object's transform position to the player's transform position plus the camera offset. Now we'll save it. Now we can go back to Unity. We can move that auto camera out of the prefab. Now in the auto camera, we're going to set the offset positions that we decided on earlier, which were 5, 8, and -5. Now currently the player value is going to be empty because there's going to be lots of players in the scene. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go back to our prefab. We're going to open it this time. And we're going to add a new script and this time call it fix camera. Now we're going to open the script by double clicking on it. Now the first thing we need to do with this script is we need to use the mirror framework and then change this to network behavior. Now this time we don't actually need the update block, so we're going to delete it and we'll just get stuck into the start block. So we'll say if this is the local player, then we want to find that camera. So we're going to use this method called find game object with tag, and we're going to look for the main camera, which is what we set before, and then we want to get the component of follow player, and then we want to set that player value to this game object. And what this is going to do is it's going to tell the camera to look at this player. Now we can save our script. We can go back to Unity. Now you won't need to do this, but my prefab's a variant, so I just need to right click on this and commit it. So apply to prefab base cut classic. Now I should be able to exit out of the prefab. Should be able to delete the prefab, and I should be able to test it by pressing the play button. There we go. That's really all there is to it. Thank you for watching. For a bonus round, what I thought we might do is steal the post-processing layer from the existing main camera. So we'll copy this component and we'll paste it in our ortho camera. That should give it the nice dreamy effect that we saw in the other camera. The other thing that's probably worth mentioning is that with this ortho camera, you can really adjust all of these properties to whatever you like. If you prefer it to be a bit closer, you can actually change the size, and that'll look quite different. The other thing I didn't really explain is with these clipping planes, the way that that works is you see this line here, it shows you where it will clip from the camera, from the back of the camera. So if I was to reduce or increase this, what it'll do is that'll slice through objects in the scene and it'll look a bit weird. I'll show you what that looks like. Also, if you wanted to change the angles, you'd definitely be able to do that too. If you prefer something a bit different, definitely possible. Thanks again for watching.